Welcome to our video bulletin for Friday the 10th of July. It was fantastic last Sunday to see so many people, so many familiar faces back worshipping at St Nick's after this unprecedented time without public worship. And on the whole, people said to me that they felt safe, and I think that's the most important thing to take away. People felt safe worshipping with all the measures that we've taken and the measures which you yourselves took. And I'll say a bit more about that a little later in this bulletin. We know as well that a number of people, quite a large number of people, watched the live stream, either when it was live or they watched the edited version later. I know that the audio wasn't perfect in the live stream, and we're working on that. There is a microphone on order, and we've thought of some things that we can do on the ground to make sure that our voices come through more clearly. But we expect a few teething troubles, and I think that was the main teething trouble that we had. The worship of the church has begun to get going, and we've begun the midweek services as well. Initially just with Thursday evenings, so last night we had our first weekday Eucharist, and over the coming weeks we'll increase that number until we're back to normal. At the moment, those are also taking place at the high altar so that the congregation can remain very distanced during the service. But the work of the church continues in other ways as well. In about 10 days' time, the week after next, we'll be unveiling the latest sculpture for the Liverpool plinth. We've got some other projects continuing, which we've begun before, such as floodlighting the church, and some new projects as well. So this week I've had a number of conversations about new ventures and new ideas of what we're going to be developing over the next few weeks and months as new ways to serve the city around us. Now on Fridays we take this moment to meet members of the congregation, and today Father Fergus has been talking to some of the most recent worshippers at St Nick's, Victoria and Ali.
So, hi, I've got Ali and Victoria here. Hello, it's lovely to have you with us. Tell us something about yourselves.
Hello, thank you for having us. I am Victoria. I moved from London almost 2 years ago now, and to Liverpool, and it took me a year and a half to find a church. And St Nick's took my heart, and that's where I'm staying.
Good. Well, we're very glad.
And I'm not Victoria. I'm the other one. I'm Ali, and I've been in and around Liverpool for quite a long time. Since I was a student in 92 to 95, stayed on for a bit, and came back. And St Nick's has always kind of called out to me. Father Fergus, you might not remember this, but I certainly did. About 2 years ago, you offered me communion in the gardens with Eva when I was going on a walk, and you were very nice. And I kind of keep on coming back to the church, and it's a big thing in my life. I've written poems about it as well, and even my little Liverbirds book here.
Oh, great!
I've got in. You might be able to.
Oh, there it is. There we are.
Had to be there.
Oh, amazing. Look at that, everyone. Go and buy it, everybody. Look at that.
Next to the killer whale.
Obviously, yes. That's
Yeah, because all those creatures have been spotted in the Mersey as well. But
amazing.
And it's really nice just to come into the church. It's very welcoming, and it feels like a good sense of community right in the heart of the city.
We're very pleased to have
we met last year at a poetry event. And almost soon after started coming to church, pretty much started coming to church the same time. And I was the one who said, I found a church, I'm gonna go. And Ali said, I'll come with you.
And there we go.
Yes, and I think that's one of the things that made me think, oh, he might be a keeper.
Very good. And you've been speaking to Father Crispin about future plans as well, if I'm right.
We got engaged two and a half weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations.
And we'll be getting married at the church next August.
Wonderful. Well, We're so lucky to have you. And tell me, how has lockdown been as a newly engaged? You clearly got engaged towards the end of it, so it can't have been that bad.
Well, I was saying, I can't remember whom I was saying it to, that if that I wouldn't have asked me to marry me at the end of lockdown, because I was a bit impossible. But obviously he didn't think so.
Just a little bit.
Because he did.
Right.
Yes, I returned from New Zealand. I went off on a lot of travels, if you remember, at the end of October. So Nigeria, the US, New Zealand. And I returned at the beginning of March. And the countries were just shutting down behind me as I was coming home. So as I left New Zealand, it shut. As I was leaving the US, it shut. And I got to England, and a week and a half later, we went into lockdown.
Oh, wow.
So I got home at the right time.
Yeah, and for me, like, it's actually been really quite structured, because I'm an artist, a poet, a writer, and a teacher. And just before lockdown, I had to go and get a new laptop, which we're talking to you on. And basically, Victoria introduced me to Zoom.
Yeah, I teach online on Zoom. I teach on a master's degree program. So, it's
keeping the structures pretty key.
So I tutor kids from like 5 to 15 online, and I'm now at I'm counting it, but I'm at number 297 since Easter.
Hours.
Sessions.
Yeah. Wow,
but,
that is.
So it's, and I've got a few more tomorrow. But what's been good is being able to timetable my hours, so that now I'm making sure that I'm not tutoring on a Sunday, which gives space for coming to church.
Of course. So, yeah. Oh well, it's been
We've been doing quite a lot of poetry, writing quite a lot of poetry, doing a poetry festival, an online poetry festival with Solar Art.
Yeah.
And
Festival 31.
Called Festival 31. And
that's working with refugees, refugee artists, and people who aren't refugees as well, people who are just in the community who want to kind of express themselves. And that's been really
stuff.
And doing lots of painting.
And lots of painting as well. And that's what's behind you. How great.
And we've been walking loads as well.
Oh, hiking.
Yes. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Oh, well, I'm glad to hear you guys you're coping and you're being super creative in the midst of it all. But it's been wonderful to speak to you, and looking forward to seeing you at church itself soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In our Friday bulletin, we also look ahead to our worship at the weekend. And so we'll be building on the experience of last Sunday and the return to public worship in our service on Sunday. And we'll be learning some of the lessons from what went well, what didn't go so well, and we'll also be enhancing what's on offer already. Father Bill will be preaching, and there will be music in the service as well. We are allowed under government regulations a single cantor, and so a member of St Nicholas Singers will be joining us to provide music to enrich our worship. When you come to church, those of you who were there last Sunday will know that the seats are placed in a distanced way, both singly and also in household groups, and there are a number of other measures. We are told that we should continue to look for ways to mitigate the risk as well as keeping the chairs apart. And so there is a one-way system, there is hand sanitizer available, there's contactless giving, there are a number of different measures, but I also encourage you to take responsibility for what will make you feel most comfortable and most relaxed and most safe as you worship. For many that will involve bringing a face mask or wearing gloves. All sorts of things happened last weekend, and please do add to the measures that we've taken as a church so that you feel comfortable. Whether you're joining us in person on Sunday or online, I hope that you'll be there at 10 o'clock as we celebrate the Eucharist together.